I don't remember where I stopped off, but just to demonstrate a few things. Once again, do not regard this as moves. You can kind of see and visualize some of the things, but you're not going to be able to utilize it as moves to be able to gain the what's called the system. So if there's two of us, I think that's where we left off. Yeah, if there's two of us, uh, this is one machine now. So let's say if somebody else takes his hand and uses this as a lever against me and has him going this way, now the both of us are falling over, in essence. If somebody brings him closer to me this way and pushes me down, well, the both of us are falling over. So you have to not only look at um, not only look at him as having levers, but you're the one that has levers too. So the question is, who's got the upper position with the lever, whether and in which gear. So if I'm trying to use a speed lever, let me work against. If I'm using a speed lever, oh, what happened here? I'm going into sixth gear. That's my sixth gear. I'm trying to hit him with as much force as possible. Well, what's happening here? He is turning that into a strength lever by creating a pivot point right here by turning his arm and keeping it real close to his face. So for me, for most people, as you're hitting him, you're not sure why you didn't hit him. But at this point, he's already inside and able to work the levers. However, for another person that knows what he's doing, I'm also able to utilize that in that same way. So you can see it's not just he has the levers and I have, it's just who it's in here. You could be an old person of 78 years old and you're still able to use this versus a guy that's prime in his 30s or 28 that doesn't understand this or that's incapable or uh, not capable of reacting or understanding this quickly enough. Or you could be a 12-year-old girl or a little boy uh, that understands this in here and is able to use the lever a lot more properly than the attacker, the supposed attacker. Okay. I'll give you the exercise now, Jimmy. All right, let's see. That. Do not settle for using one lever. Try and use multiple ones. So if I'm going here, I'm going for a variety. At first, I'm sure you're going to try and stick to one because the muscle memory doesn't let you move quickly in a fixated position. So you have to learn to relax. From here, here's an instance. Since I am right here, I cannot. I would have a difficult time reaching over here, although I could. From here, it feels a little bit more natural to me. But I have to use more strength because it's my sixth gear working against his third gear. So here I'll have to use more power from my shoulder in order to move him. Now, if I go ahead and go out here, I would have a heck of a time moving him. So I have to bring him in close so that I'm in roughly second gear as well. So closer to your body you get, the less speed, more torque you have. Uh, Here, I can use it from here to the head, from here to the other shoulder. This is a teeter-totter effect. From here, I can use it, but I have to step over somewhat. We're talking inches. From here, I can use it again as a long lever to the head, as a long lever to the other shoulder, as a long lever all the way to the hip, without using much power from myself. Um, can come up. This is a good way. So we're just going to practice a little bit. So this is after you've got a little bit more advanced. You can come in and just start doing these kind of practice. it out too. Try and work it from different angles. If I'm over here and I need to do something, I have to make sure and know what I'm doing from this angle as well. If I'm from behind, using footwork and help with, I kind of did a little bit of a bad thing here. Try and move your legs out of the way as best as possible and let him fall, because for accidental purposes, so let's say he doesn't hit the base of his head against the knee, so you guys wouldn't have any problems or yells. From here, here's a one cross, another cross, so hip to shoulder. In this sense, hip goes this way, shoulder goes this way and down. Legs, by just pushing him, you still, what you want to do is you want to see how the body gets disbalanced. Right? So once it's already disbalanced, it's pretty much, I mean, from there you just keep falling, right? Yeah. From here, this would be the same premise and the same basis for grappling as well, because you have a whole bunch of levers just interlinked, right? So from here, I can use it, but Jimmy can use it too. Please, Jimmy. Hopefully that was somewhat understood. You want to stand looking that way? We'll do it again. So if I have him here, he's tilted back. What is his prerogative? To get me shifted. Now, I became a giant lever from the hip, was the pivot point all the way out here. Right? Right. From here, if I'm laying, turning, he can control me in this way just by the simple virtue of turning or using my arm as a lever to lock me in or lock me down. This, and here I have his arm, and he gets locked down with most of the vital areas very fully exposed. It's a little bit easier not to do it on you. I'm not going to snap anything or break nothing. That's the way it feels now. From here, again, you want to try and work on the same from, if you feel like you got it from here, you might want to go ahead and kind of step over a little bit and see that this does not feel good anymore. From here, it feels like something more natural to go around this way by stepping on his foot to keep him in position. From here, it feels natural to get rid of that brace, which is the leg. From here, all of a sudden, it feels natural to use that teeter totter. So again, not move-based, lever-based. You want to make sure and use the proper levers for their positions. At first, when you're going to start doing this, again, I'm going to go ahead and reiterate on this. If I pull down, he doesn't want to fall down. Why? I'm in first position. He's in first position, and I'm trying to work against his whole mass. As soon as I go ahead and get him out here to, which position is this?
We're in sixth gear.
This is sixth position. Which position am I in? First gear. First. So just by the virtue of me sitting down and giving him a little bit of a tug out with my shoulder, all of a sudden, here's this giant lever. Boom, it keeps coming down. Right? Strength lever. So I'm trying to get myself into a more advantageous place. So for the most part, the whole idea is you don't bend down. You don't really try and shift much. What you're doing is you're working mainly on yourself and not so much on the opponent. Because if I'm working on myself, my prerogative is to move over and stand straight, right? So for him, you see where he's already in a bad position. He's already tilted this way, and he's got this weak point right here where I'm using this lever to pull on this lever, but not straight down, because see where we would be collapsing straight down. More like towards the back. A little bit, but not a huge angle towards the back, just slight, 2 inches. I mean, we're talking inches. Half an inch here, 2 inches here. So what our arms are doing is mainly like surgical work. We're not using any power at this distance. I mean, I can't really muster up much power over here. I have to get closer in order to get more power. I have to get really close in order to get a lot more power. And then from here, if I just push them with my arms and my upper body, I can't muster up enough. I step over, now there's a lot of power. You just drop me, my prerogative to get up and drop you as fast as possible. Then you drop me as fast as possible, and we'll just keep it going back and forth. Okay?
Dad!
Ah, Russ, what's up?
We should turn her.
No. Oh, no. Okay.
Just 1 minute, please. Please, 1 minute.
Oh, excellent. Whoa. That's the opposite way.
My dad's great.
Very nice. Ooh. All right, you want to show?
Yeah,
Come on. You're going to show them.
I have a secret.
Okay. Oh, come on. You got to let him do it.
I have a secret.
You do? Very nice. Good job. Good job. Thank you. All right, Jim, let's work on this and then transition into the weapons. Transition into punches, right? Or because it's a grab, it's not so threatening. So it's a lot easier to work against that at first. Then when it's a punch, you've already developed the muscle memory to deal with basically the same thing. Then when it's a knife, you've already developed the muscle memory. So this is what we're going to end up doing, is basically transition from this to this. Okay? Okay. Count. I'm trying to grab you. Okay? You want to move away at first, and then whenever you feel comfortable. Okay? So I'm grabbing you. Oh, here, Jim. You do. You do it to me. Okay. 2, 3, 4. Now. Okay. What happens is, besides the fact that he's moving and I'm learning to move away from him, trying to move away from him, you're also developing this. When your attacker is trying to catch you and he can't, what happens when he finally does? The whole goal is to get him into this, catch Jimmy deal, right? Or catch Mikey deal. I'm trying to get him to catch me, but moving him away and kind of making a tasty target. But when he does catch me, now he's all of a sudden lost. He's so caught up in trying to catch whoever you're trying to catch that you forget what you're going to do next, right? So at that point, if somebody did grab me, grab him like this deal with him. For instance. Not moves, not dogmas. All right? So move away. Your turn. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Doesn't have to be 4. You can do it first moment you feel like it, or for your own training purposes. You move away. All right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Try and do it when, let's say, because you're working on yourself, try and do it, let's say, here's a floating moment. As he's coming in, I can work against it. But, or, now it's a stationary moment. So he's not giving me any energy. He's already grabbed. And at this point, I would have to work against it. So then I'm providing the strength. If he's working already as he's coming in, for instance, then it's much easier for me to deal with him on that level. Okay. See what he's doing? He's working on his own ability to just maneuver away, because you're not necessarily maneuvering with your body, but more so you're maneuvering with your legs. Right? Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Nice. Now, for a similar idea, I'm just going to hold this off to the side. Don't drop me. Right now, just move away. Okay. Knife now. Okay, drop me. Oh, nice. Whenever you feel it. That's the idea here is to work for this exercise without using your hands. In this case, you're just trying to maneuver around it. Yep. Make sure your feet don't have roots. You can step away further. And come in closer. So the whole idea is to get accustomed to working around. This is a real knife, real blade. The only thing is it's dulled out. I put on the grinder, make sure it's nice and dull, so there's no accident there still could be, so I would urge everybody to be very careful. And I would not urge anybody to go ahead and start out of a brand new, start just slashing at your partner. I'm sure that there's people who have smarts enough to do that too. All right. Again, this is for that reason. Then we can, once we get accustomed to using this, we can turn it to using the 6 points, for instance. And then try and finish it off. Get into the muscle memory of finishing it off. So if Jimmy's working against me, right, for me, just by the virtue of standing off to the side like this, he's giving me the knife. Right here, try and work against it to finish it off. You can either come in a sliding hit and then come back in, or many different variations, but the whole idea, this is still a lever.